I just came back from a dinner with Sam Cedar, and I got more New York stories for you guys. There's the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'll tell you, man, in New York, some people, they look like they got the soul sucked out of them. You're driving in the, well, not driving, but riding in the subway, and there's these, I saw a woman the other day, and she's just like you could feel the pain on her face. Feels like life has beat them down, and like they lost a part of themselves. So in some ways, I tell you, it's depressing. But in other ways, there's so much electricity in the city, and there's just so many people, and the attitude is so funny that interesting stuff happens all the time. Now, I want to tell you a couple of quirky things about New York. One, sometimes they just don't give you the right change. Like the other day, I had 32 cents of change coming to me, and they just gave me a quarter. I mean, to 7 cents, who cares? It's not a big deal. But I don't think you get to make that decision, do you? Can you just not give me the full change I wanted? And to them, it's like, it's not even an issue. Okay, that's one thing. Then the other night, I went out to a dinner with a friend, and we had a bill for like $49.38, right? And we split the bill, and it comes back $25.25. I love, they're like, who's going to do math? We just charge them a little more. They pay us $50 instead of $49.38. Crazy. And then I had the quintessential New York story. I'm walking in the street. Two people are walking behind me, a woman and a guy. Woman's talking about how her boss was trying to get her to build a website. And she's talking to the guy, and the guy says, yeah, I don't know, you got to be a fucking genius to figure this stuff out. And what's funny is I'm giving him an Italian accent, but they weren't Italian. I think they were African American. They might have been Latino, but they had a general tough guy New York accent, both the woman and the guy. So he says, you gotta be kind of a fucking genius, dude. I took notes on it because I was so amused by it. She comes back with, well, the problem is figuring out all the tricky shit. I love that. Yes, you're right. That's usually the problem in life. Figuring out all the tricky shit. You know what I'm saying? And then he comes back with, why don't you just get Nyoka-san to do it? And but he said it in a way, I was like, is that supposed to be some sort of generic Asian? Like he just made up a name? But later, as they kept walking, I realized that was an actual person in their company. And he's like, come on, he's Asian. He'll build a website. And then he concludes by saying to her in his sage advice, if my boss told me to do that, I'd have punched him in the fucking face. I was like, there it is. New York.